Hi, this is Nick Bayard with the Lessons for Success and Happiness video series. And this is my 15th video. It's been a really neat experience to put these together. And in looking back on the last 14 videos I've posted, I've seen that the video I created on overcoming tinnitus, which is ringing of the ears, has been viewed about twice as many times as any other video that I posted. So I wanted to do a bit of a deeper dive into tinnitus and some ways I've found have been helpful for me to overcome it as a stressor. And through posting that video, I've also connected with some support groups out there on Facebook and YouTube. And it's much more widespread than I thought, which is both comforting and alarming at the same time, because it's both nice to know that sort of I've got folks out there that are sort of in solidarity with me, but it's also kind of alarming that so many people are suffering with it. So about 50 million people in the United States experience ringing of the ears, and of those, about 10 million experience it severely. And with that comes a lot of anxiety and fear, and it can be debilitating. And I was one of those 10 million people about 9 years ago. And I went from a place of feeling like this is something that's going to be bringing me down for the rest of my life, and something I'm going to have to deal with every day for all of my years left on Earth, to my next sort of state of consciousness, which was to identify it as something that was happening to me in the present moment. And to be present and to live in the present has almost completely eliminated all anxiety associated with my tinnitus. And I'm not saying that'll work for everyone, but if you are able to be present, focus on your breath, actually really focus on what you can do in the moment and live in the moment, the anxiety of having a condition that doesn't currently have a cure can instantly fall away. And it kind of needs to be an instant thing. It's not something you work on. If you're working on being present, you're never going to be present. You're constantly going to be in the future. Your brain is going to be in the future. So stay present. And something that's happening to you right now is not nearly as stressful as something that's going to happen every day for the rest of your life. It's a very subtle change, but it can be really transformative. Another insight I wanted to share in this video is around gratitude. And I work in the social services and human services. And every year we do a training on something called vicarious trauma. And that is the trauma that happens when you're constantly exposed to other people's stories of trauma. And it's an occupational hazard of social service. It's something that's inevitable if you're working in any kind of change or helping profession. And it's something to be focused on and to practice working against if you're in that kind of work, because it's really the only way to stay in that kind of work and be happy and healthy and effective. And one of the tools that our trainer shares is around the 5 senses. And every year I take out this same form she passes out, and it's got a column for sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. And she encourages us to take a moment with each category and list the things that are just joyful and indulgent for you in each category. And some of them are easier for me than others. And when I get to the hearing one, it's a little tougher, because I have some hearing loss, which is associated with my tinnitus. And so, I'm a bit sensitive about that. And so some of the things that I end up writing down are, the sound of cicadas in the summertime. I find that to be a very relaxing sound, and it's something that also drowns out my tinnitus. Other sounds that are joyful for me are music that remind me of my youth, that bring about joyful memories. And thinking about each one of those senses, it's a great reminder for me that I have pretty much full range of body and experience. And in the grand scheme of things, having some hearing loss and having some ringing in the ears, it doesn't diminish my sight, my sense of smell, my touch, any other sense. And so I think it's easy for us to focus on things that are a deficiency. It's a natural tendency, and I don't say this with any sense of sort of creating shame or guilt around it, because I think it's very natural for us to focus on that. If there's a problem, we try to fix it. But one thing I'd really encourage you to do if you're struggling with tinnitus is to do that activity with the 5 senses. Find the things that are indulgent to you in each of your 5 senses and focus on those. Maybe do it one per week intentionally. For me, I love the sound of my daughter's laughter. She's 2 years old. I don't think there's anything better than that. I love looking at my orchid collection. If you've seen my other videos, you'll know I'm a huge fan of orchids. And if you can develop this list for yourself, not only I think will it remind you of all of the great senses that you have full sort of reign over, but it'll help you forget. You won't even notice that your tinnitus is there if you've got a centered and happy life. Ultimately, I think that's what we all want. And this is just sort of one way to think about it. By focusing on your own happiness in different domains, tinnitus is not going to feel like a big deal. It's going to be something that you might remember you have. And that, I think, is a great place to be. So I hope this has been useful. I would love to keep doing some videos on this, because I've heard stories of folks out there who are really suffering, and would love to provide any insight or tips that I can to be useful. So thanks for watching. That's a train you're hearing in the distance. We're not too far from a train track. We are also moving into winter, so I'm going to try to keep doing these outside, but this might be the last one I do without a jacket. So this has been a lot of fun. It's been satisfying, and I hope it's been useful for you. Thanks for watching.